Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? My name is M1K3 and welcome to another video here on the channel. Today, we're taking a deep dive into how to become a professional player in Chapter 3, Season 1. Before we get into that though, around 64.3% of you guys watching are not subscribed. So, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing. Now, let's get into today's episode. Chapter 3 has come with a fresh start for everyone. From now on and moving forward, it will be those who grind the most who will be rewarded. On that note, the first topic I want to talk about in today's episode is something I believe will be a major factor behind succeeding in Chapter 3 and more importantly, in duos. What I'm talking about is of course finding a duo partner to stick with throughout the entire year. So why do I think this is so important, especially now in duos? Let's talk about that. In trios, the weight of one player doesn't matter a ton. Meaning, if one player in your trio has a bad day, it won't weigh down the entire team as much as it would in duos. Therefore, I think it will be absolutely crucial if you want to do well this year to find someone to grind and improve together with. This way, you know your partner will have the experience and you also know each other's strengths and weaknesses. On that note, I highly recommend you guys to find someone you enjoy playing with a lot. Ask them if they're down to play the entire year, no matter what. And if they say yes, go for it. So what this means is that you'll experience the highest of highs and lowest of lows with this person. I do not recommend splitting with your partner after one bad tournament, because improving in duos is very much a team effort. And it's hard to improve in duos if you jump from duo to duo all the time. Now that we got the first and arguably one of the most important aspects of going pro in 2022, let's move on. The next topic I have to talk about in today's episode is practicing and perfecting your aim. This season, more than ever, you have to have top tier aim if you want to become a professional player. Having good aim will simply not be enough this season. You need insane aim this chapter. You want to practice your aim for 45 minutes every single day, consistently throughout the entire chapter. The undoubtedly best way to do this is by using Kovacs. I have a few really reliable and good routines up on the channel you can follow to improve your aim starting today. So I'll link those in the description below. As I've mentioned earlier in this video, this is a fresh start for everyone. And hard work will pay off more than you guys can imagine. One of my favorite sayings goes like this: you always get back what you put in. And that can't be more true for Chapter 3, Season 1. So now that I've talked about two fairly widely understood topics, the next thing in today's video is something some pro players, even to this day, don't understand. And that is abusing the meta to benefit heavily in tournaments. So to give you guys some context, I really quickly want to go back to the World Cup qualifiers. During the 10 weeks of qualifiers open to everyone, bowlers were in the game, often categorized as the most unskilled item in Fortnite. What this essentially meant was that it allowed bad players to make a good chunk of money for doing nearly nothing for 3 hours straight. Nothing, meaning sitting in a bowl until top 5. Bowlers were heavily hated on by pretty much the entire competitive Fortnite community. And if you played bowlers during the 10 weeks of qualifiers, you got stamped as a terrible player, a bowler player, and someone who didn't understand how to play the game correctly. Because of this common thought everyone had in the Fortnite competitive community, me and my friends didn't play bowlers. And in the World Cup qualifiers, I made $800. But if I was smart and abused the meta, I could have probably tripled those earnings easily. What I'm getting at here, guys, is don't be afraid to play the meta. Right now, SMGs are incredibly overpowered, and using only SMGs can be looked at as unskillful, cringe, and if you place in a tournament using SMGs only, a lot of people will probably discredit you. But this is literally how to win in Fortnite. How you get that placement on the leaderboard doesn't matter as long as you get it, whether that be sitting in a bowler for 3 hours straight or running triple SMGs. If there's something you know is overpowered, abuse it for all that it's worth. Because trust me, if you don't, you'll regret it in the future. So now that you know that you have to be shameless in Fortnite, I want to touch on something that's just as important, and that is not having a victim mentality. And this is something so many Fortnite players I both play with and watch have, and honestly, it makes me pissed off. Having a victim mentality is when you instantly blame something for when you die in Fortnite, instead of realizing that you yourself messed up. An example can be the common phrase so many players use when they get eliminated: "I'm so unlucky." This whining attitude is literally good for no one, and if you want to make it in Fortnite, try to avoid being a whining baby, because you'll grow so much more, not only as an individual or solo player, but you'll also instantly become a better teammate if you realize that you yourself messed up, and it's okay to admit that. Lastly, we're gonna be talking about the most interesting topic of the entire video, and that is hard hours. How many hours do you have to play consistently every single day if you want to become a professional Fortnite player in 2022? So, needless to say, this number will vary heavily from person to person. It comes down to what practice you can play, how good the players you play against are, and how fast you can learn from your own mistakes. But a good number and an honest number is 6 effective hours every day. Does this mean that I recommend playing 6 hours a day? Well, if Fortnite is your dream and this is something you really want to achieve, then of course. I never want to stop anyone from doing their absolute best to achieve their dreams. And I also want to touch on the fact that I said effective hours. This means customs. Custom game matchmaking, ladies and gentlemen. Playing 1 versus 1s in creative against one of your friends that you've played 1,000 times before, and you know his playstyle better than your own, is not effective. It's actually ineffective. You need to be out there looking for customs to play against players with the same vision and mindset for improvement that you have. The only thing stopping you from becoming the best version of yourself is you. Chapter 3 is a fresh start, and duos that stick and work really hard together will be heavily rewarded. There is no doubt about it. The question is, will you be able to understand that becoming great is a process and not something that automatically happens overnight? Guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. My name is M1K3 Editz. Stay safe and take care.